That's just one tiny instant. Let's look at youth groups. Well, youth need to be together. You know, they need to be together. Okay, well, let's look. Proverbs 13:20. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Whoever told you youth ought to be together? Whoever told you that? I'll tell you who told you that. 1960s. Psychologist. Generation gap. Youth are to be with adults so that they stop acting like naive fools and join adulthood and put away foolishness, which leads to destruction. Now, I'm not saying you can't bring youth together, but I submit if you do, have all their parents there. And you say, well, what about the lost youth that come into our church? Well, what are they seeing now? The lost youth come into your Christian youth in church, and they see almost the same thing they see in their own home. No parents, kids teaching kids. Or one guy a little bit older with mousse in his hair teaching your kids. But what would happen if lost youth came into your church and they saw the children there, the youth, in a loving, wonderful relationship collectively with their parents? And they would go, whoa, I've never seen anything like this before. His dad, look at him. He loves his dad. I mean, look at so is this Christianity? You see, my dear friend, let's say that I am no doctor, but a man comes up to me with a bleeding forehead and he says, Brother Paul, I've been everywhere. No one can diagnose my problem. And I said, well, I'm no doctor, but I'll follow you around for 24 hours. And I noticed that every time the hour strikes, if it strikes 1, he hits himself in the head with a brick 1 time. If it strikes 2, he hits himself in the head twice with a brick. If it strikes 12, he hits himself 12 times in the head with a brick. After observing this cautiously and carefully, taking notes for 24 hours, I come up to him and I say, you know, I think I have figured out your problem. I'm no doctor, but I think I figured out your problem. It is that pathetic among us, church. Why do our children do what they do? Why is everything... It's like one old dear saint, someone asked him one time, he wouldn't let his teenage son go out with a young lady to be in some private place. He said, don't you trust your son? He said, no, I don't trust my son. Whatever made you think that? I don't trust his dad. I wouldn't put his father alone with a woman that wasn't his wife. And yet I have much more to lose than a boy. I have much more control of my will than a teenager with raging hormones. So what would make you ever think I would do that? We violate biblical principle after biblical principle after biblical principle, and then we wonder why everything is a mess.